Most men think the real pain hits when she walks out the door, when she says it's over, or when her presence fades from your daily life. But the truth? That's not when the real shift happens. The real transformation, the one that flips everything, begins when she realizes you're not chasing anymore. When your energy pulls back, not in anger but in clarity. When you stop reaching, stop explaining, stop trying to prove your worth. That's when the silence sets in, and that silence is louder than any argument, any apology, any dramatic goodbye. You see, silence isn't weakness. It's not bitterness or revenge. It's not about punishment. It's presence. It's the decision to stand still in your worth, to stop negotiating your value. It's choosing peace over performance. And when that peace becomes your posture, it shocks her. She expected noise. She expected pleading, tears, maybe even resentment. What she didn't expect was nothing. Stillness. A man who doesn't flinch when she walks. A man who doesn't beg her to turn around. That's when she starts to feel it. Not guilt. Not sorrow. But a hollow space where your energy used to be. Her days start to feel quieter, but not in a peaceful way, in an unsettling, unfamiliar way. And it hits her not because you tried to make her feel it, but because your absence is real now. You're not reacting. You're not waiting. You're simply gone. Not physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And that kind of silence? It shifts the power completely. It makes her sit with what she took for granted. Because now she's not the one who left. You are. Not by walking away, but by no longer reaching back. And brother, that's when the story truly begins to change. The first thing that hits her when your silence settles in isn't anger. It's confusion. Deep, uncomfortable confusion. She's thrown off balance not because you said something cruel or dramatic, but because you said absolutely nothing. That stillness? It's unfamiliar. See, she was sure she had you figured out. She thought she could push, pull, even disappear, and you'd always be right there, ready to forgive, ready to explain yourself, ready to chase after her just one more time. That belief gave her control. But when you go quiet, truly quiet, that belief starts to crack. She starts overthinking, replaying old messages, moments, arguments, laughs, searching for the moment things shifted. She's not doing it because she misses the relationship. Not yet. She's doing it because her sense of control is gone. She assumed you'd always be an option, that no matter what, your energy would orbit around hers. But now, you're gone. Not in anger, not in drama, just gone. That's where the real struggle begins for her. One day she'll act like nothing happened, like she's moved on with ease. The next, she'll ask your mutual friends how you've been or stalk your socials in silence. That back and forth behavior? It's not love. It's not even emotional stability. It's her ego wrestling with a truth she can't ignore. You're no longer in her hands. She doesn't understand how you slipped through her fingers so quietly. And that confusion? That's the beginning of her emotional unraveling. It's not that she suddenly wants you back. It's that she can't stand the idea that you stopped wanting her. That kind of confusion runs deep. And it doesn't go away quickly, because every moment you remain silent, she's forced to face a reality she never planned for. She lost a man she thought would never leave on his own terms. After the confusion settles in, her instinct is survival. And survival, for her, often looks like replacement. She doesn't sit with the loss, she tries to cover it. Tries to prove to herself, and the world, that she's unfazed. That you were just a chapter, not the story. So what does she do? She moves fast. Posts more. Parties harder. Maybe even finds someone new to stand beside her in pictures. And on the surface, it all looks convincing. She looks happy, unbothered, glowing. But underneath, it's just noise. See, what you're witnessing isn't healing. It's distraction in disguise. That new guy, that upgrade, he's not love. He's a buffer. A wall between her and the silence you left behind. Because sitting in that silence would force her to feel the weight of what she lost. And that's too heavy to hold, so she runs from it. Quickly. Loudly. She's not showing off for fun. She's showing off for validation. To convince herself she didn't lose something valuable. To convince others she's already over it. But healing doesn't need an audience. Real growth isn't broadcasted. It's quiet. It happens when no one's watching, when there are no likes or comments to chase. And deep down she knows it. That smile on her face? It doesn't reach her eyes. What she's really doing is trying to outrun the truth. That the man she lost didn't try to come back. That while she's scrambling for distractions, you're steady, present, at peace. And that contrast haunts her. Because the louder she gets, the more obvious it becomes. She's not healed. She's hiding. So let her run. Let her post. Let her pretend. You don't need to react. Because every attempt to replace you is proof she still feels your absence more than she'll ever admit. She might not message you. She might not call or comment on your posts. But don't be fooled, she's still there. Watching. Quietly. Silently. From the shadows. Because even though she's not reaching out directly, her curiosity doesn't go away. In fact, it grows. She wants to know if you've really let go. If you've really moved on. If you still think about her the way she secretly still thinks about you. She'll check your stories but never react. She'll scroll through your feed looking for signs, new connections, new confidence, any change in your energy. She might even ask mutual friends about you in passing, trying to make it sound casual when it's anything but. She's trying to read your silence like it's a language she never learned. And here's the wild part. The less you give, the more she obsesses. Because when you were always available, always present, she didn't have to wonder. Now with you gone, the unknown drives her crazy. Your lack of reaction becomes louder than any response ever could. She starts to realize that you're not just being quiet, you're being intentional. And that scares her more than anything. Because she's not used to that kind of discipline. She's not used to being the one on the outside looking in. You don't need to block her. You don't need to send any kind of message. Your stillness is the message. And it hits different. Because now, for the first time, she's not in control of the narrative. You are. You're not fighting to be seen. You've become someone she can't stop watching. And the truth is, the moment she starts watching in silence is the moment she realizes she doesn't live in your world anymore. But you still live in hers. At some point, regret starts to creep in, but she'll never show it directly. That's not how it works. She won't come to you with an apology or an honest confession. Instead, she'll wear a mask made of pride. She might make a joke only you would understand, drop a casual "remember when," or send a meme that feels oddly familiar. It seems harmless on the surface, like friendly nostalgia. But beneath it, there's a question. Is the door still open? That's not love talking. That's ego testing. She's trying to see if there's still space in your heart for her. Not because she wants to rebuild something real, but because she doesn't want to fully accept that you're truly gone. That she lost you. So instead of admitting the pain, she wraps it in pride and pretends she's just being friendly. This is the part where many men get pulled back in. That soft voice, the subtle callbacks, the half smiles, they look like hope. But they're not. They're regret in disguise. And regret doesn't mean she's ready to love you right. It just means she finally feels the absence of the man she once had easy access to. The danger is in misreading it. Taking that regret as a sign she's changed. But if she had truly changed, her approach would be honest. It would be consistent. Instead, it's quiet, strategic, safe. Just enough to stir your emotions but never enough to take accountability. She's not looking to come back. She's looking to see if she could. And this is where your growth speaks. You've become a man who doesn't open old doors just because someone knocks. You recognize the difference between regret and love. And you no longer confuse the two. That's your power. When the subtle regret doesn't pull you back in, she'll shift again. This time she'll reach for conflict. Not because she wants war, but because conflict is her last way of feeling connected to you. If she can't have your love, your energy, or your attention through peace, she'll try to get it through tension. It might come in the form of passive-aggressive comments, little jabs, or random criticism about your growth, your choices, even your peace. She'll say something just sharp enough to sting, something designed to get under your skin. Because in her mind, if she can get you to argue, to defend yourself, or even to get upset, then she still has a piece of you. To her, anger is proof that she still matters. That she can still trigger an emotional response from the man she no longer has access to. But this is where your strength gets tested, and also where it's revealed. Because the man who truly healed doesn't get dragged into emotional chaos. He doesn't react to bait. He doesn't fall for the trap of needing the last word. He stands in stillness because stillness is where his power lives now. When you no longer engage, you send a message without saying a word. You no longer control the emotional tone of my life. And that silence? That calm? It shakes her more than any angry reply ever could. Because now she knows, it's really over. Not because you said it, but because you don't have to. You've outgrown the emotional tug-of-war. You no longer fight to prove yourself. You've mastered the art of responding with nothing at all. And nothing, brother, is sometimes the loudest answer a man can give. After the conflict doesn't work, after you don't take the bait, after your silence remains solid, she shifts again. This time the energy changes. Softer now. Warmer. Out of nowhere, she might reach out with kindness. A sweet message. A soft just checking in. Maybe she likes an old photo, sends a birthday wish, or drops a compliment she hasn't given in months. On the surface it feels innocent, even thoughtful. But behind the words is something else. Fear. Fear that she's actually losing you. She knows the old games aren't working. You're not responding to drama. You're not biting the hook of conflict. So now she shows up sweet. Not because she's rediscovered her love for you, but because she's trying to keep a door open. Any door. This kindness? It's not rooted in connection. It's rooted in survival. In insecurity. In needing to know she's not truly forgotten. But real love doesn't reappear when it's convenient. It doesn't arrive only after silence. It doesn't show up once attention has been lost. Real love is steady, consistent, grounded. And if that's not what she's offering, then this softness isn't what it seems. She's not saying, I care for you. She's saying, please don't erase me. This is where many men confuse kindness for reconciliation. But what you're really seeing is emotional preservation. Her trying to stay in your life not because she wants to build something real, but because she can't handle being completely shut out of it. And this is where you stay wise. Calm. Clear. You don't hate her. You don't play along. You simply recognize what's happening, and you don't lower your standards just because the energy got sweeter. Because kindness without consistency is just another strategy. And brother, you've outgrown strategies. When all the softness fails, when the kindness doesn't reopen the door, she'll make one last shift. This time she'll try to rewrite the story. Not for you. For herself. For others. For her pride. You might start hearing things like, it wasn't that serious anyway, or, I was the one holding everything together, or even, he was never really what I wanted. But that's not truth. That's ego trying to dull the sting of loss. She can't admit she lost a man who leveled up after she left. That kind of truth is too heavy. Too raw. So she starts changing the narrative, telling a version that makes her feel more in control. A version where she wasn't left behind. A version where she wasn't affected. But deep down she knows. She remembers. She feels every bit of what she won't say out loud. This is the final attempt to regain control, not over you but over how the story looks from the outside. If she can't have access to you, she wants to at least protect her image. And here's where your silence continues to serve you. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to correct the version she tells. Because truth has a way of living in silence. And people eventually see it. Let her rewrite. Let her downplay. Let her tell whatever story she needs to survive. But never forget, rewriting the past is often a sign someone regrets how it ended. Not because they want to fix it, but because they can't face what they lost. And while she's out there trying to reshape the memory, you're not stuck in the past anymore. You've already closed that chapter, not with bitterness, but with growth. And that, brother, is a story she can't edit.